All right, it's another you shoot. They say only the bravest in the business will allow you to ask them anything you want, and they will answer with complete honesty. And my guest, once again, is one of those brave people who is going to answer with complete. It's is it El Patron? Is it Alberto Rodriguez?
Alberto el Patron.
Alberto Patron. That's it. Yes.
Okay, so I figured since you're gonna have such a legend here on You Shoot, you should introduce him with class and with some diaphragm in there.
Yeah. Well,
so let's do this properly.
It was actually very good.
No, it was always sucked. So let's do this properly. Damas y caballeros, en este momento les presento a la esencia de la excelencia, el orgullo de México. Él es Alberto del Rio.
See, that's how you do it.
I have so much work to do. Jerry McDevitt, do not send the cease and desist for that last name that we just heard. We'll have to bleep that out.
Well, formerly known.
Formerly known as. Thank you very much for doing this, first of all. Your fans, we got a very, very, very big response.
Thank you.
Very big response from the ladies. You should know this too, I guess. I don't know if that's a surprise to you. Probably not. We will see. We'll start with the opening bell. From Jesus Juarregui. How did I do with the list?
What was that?
The last name? How did I do with that?
Jauregui.
Jauregui.
Yeah.
Argentinian, perhaps?
Probably.
Okay. Alberto del Rio, thank you so much for all your hard work in WWE. My father is not a fan of wrestling, but he became a fan after seeing you live in San Jose in a SmackDown taping. He enjoyed seeing you wrestle. He felt a sense of pride seeing a Mexican on a big stage. Here's my question. What was the hardest thing about working WWE? And knowing what happened, would you like to do it all over again? Also, can you give a shout out to Juan Vera? Thank you in advance. Buena suerte de aquí en adelante. It's your destiny.
Well, it was the schedule. You know, the schedule with WWE was brutal. We were on the road for 315, 320 days. Like in my case, I was going home every week just for 35, 36 hours. And I have a family, so that's really difficult to do when you have kids and they're waiting for you. So I will say that the hardest part was the schedule.
It's the schedule. Very good. John from Massachusetts has sent us this.
Hey,
oh, he's having fun.
Question from Alberto. Can you fill us in on what happened with you and WWE and the altercation that happened backstage? Can you put the rumors to rest? Was it shoot? Was it altercation, racism, like everyone say it is?
Okay. Keep having fun, my friend. Well, everybody knows what happened. That incident with that social media worker, it's all over the net.
Yeah.
WWE and I have come to an agreement, and we fixed everything out of court, and now we're good. I mean, I made a mistake. They made a mistake. Actually, they're gonna post something in the following days on WWE.com explaining about the incident and you know, wishing me luck in all my future endeavors. And you know, I don't work for them anymore. I'm not interested in.
Were they too quick to do it instead of getting your side of the story?
No, it took a lot of time because I didn't want to talk about the incident. It was all over the net because there was a lot of people that day. There was some of my friends were there, writers, producers. A lot of people was there that day in catering, and they saw what happened.
Okay.
And they were the ones, you know, posting everything or filtering everything on the internet, and I didn't say anything because I don't know anything about law. Right. I don't know, especially here in this country, because I mean I don't even know the law in Mexico. Just to me, it was really difficult to talk about the incident because I didn't know if they were going to come after me, and then of course I found the right person, the right lawyer who was advising me.
Ramsey from Montreal, Canada, in Matt Seidel's You Shoot, which was filmed the day you were released from WWE, he spoke about you being released and what kind of personality you have.
I think it's rotten. You know, I don't know what happened at all, but it's a shame that the guy got fired. Yeah, I don't know the situation at all, but it's just. I mean, like I don't know what it's sucks for the fans, I imagine, and it'll suck for him. You know, maybe I have no idea what happened, so I'd love to know like a little more information. Right. I don't think he would push somebody up against a wall, but I think he's vocal. I think he stands up for himself. I don't think he's like I don't think he's necessarily a guy that's going to jump to an aggressive status, but he will stand up for himself if he feels he's being wronged. You know, he's not a guy who's just going to lay down and take it. Like, he's going to stand up for himself. So, you know, I guess time will tell, but it's, you know, we'll just get him on here next, and I'll take your job, and he'll sit here, and I'll sit there, and we'll have a good old chat about Mexico.
He's a great guy. He was one of the first superstars, the first wrestlers who ever spoke to me in WWE. And well, like he said, you know, I'm not an aggressive person, but I mean, if you try to humiliate me, to make fun of me, of course I'm gonna fight back. I mean, I come from Mexico. We had hot blood, you know. We don't take crap for nobody. And like in that incident, I didn't slap that guy right away. I mean, he said it, and I got up, and I demanded an apology from that guy. And instead of giving me an apology, he smiled at me. And that's the reason I smacked him. I mean, it was never like they said. I never got up from my table and punched him or slapped him. I said, "What did you say, MF?" And then the guy didn't say anything. And then I said, "Okay, apologize. Repeat that to me." And then he did this. And that's when I lost it, you know. But I'm not an aggressive person. But I mean, I'm not gonna let anyone bully me around. Especially this is a problem that we're living right now. In the world that we live right now, is the athletes, the big guys being bullied. But these guys, because they get so much attention from the media, that now is the little guys or the guys in the office making fun of us. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's because we always gonna be the bad guys because we're supposed to be big and tough, and we are always gonna be the bad guys. But that's not the case with me. I'm a really nice person in real life.
Did this guy think that he was not going to get slapped when you asked for an apology and he laughed at you?
I have no clue.
Or did he want it, maybe?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what he was thinking. I even said, I have never given you a reason to think that we're friends. And a lot of people was there. So I don't know what the guy was thinking. But again, it's in the past. I don't know what that guy is doing. I don't even know what the company is doing with their talent. And I'm doing better things.
Dylan Thomas of Greensboro, North Carolina. Did any of the boys try to defend you when it came to the incident? And did anyone tell you that they wish they were in your shoes when it happened?
Oh yeah, I mean, most of the main guys in the company called me. Some of them were saying things like, "Oh, we're gonna get your job back," and I was like, "Well, you know, it is what it is. The incident happened, and if they want to go that way, fine. I mean, everybody knows that I was not happy in the company anymore, and that I was not going to resign my contract with them, because you know, I mean, it was not worth it. We used to make a lot of money, and now the money it's just okay. I'm not gonna say it's bad because it's never bad when you work for that company, but it was not what it was.
Okay.
Like when I started, or like when John Laurinaitis was in charge.
So even in your run, you saw a drop.
Oh yeah, everything was fantastic. Story-wise, money-wise, for like 4 years, but the last 2 years he was just not good, and not only for me, for pretty much everybody.
Okay.
The money was just not the same, and that's the reason I was considering not to resign with them and moving to Mexico, or just going to Mexico for work and go everywhere else. You know, Japan,
Sure.
Europe. Because I had conversations with some of my friends in Mexico, guys like El Santo, Blue Demon, the First in Car, and they were like, "Hey man, you know, we're doing $5,000 per show, and the business is fantastic here. And if we're doing $5,000 per show, just imagine this: in wrestling words, in Mexico, for Mexicans, Rey Mysterio is God, and you are the devil. There's nobody with more power than you guys. So if you guys come down here and work, you're gonna do just fine." And I was like, "Shit! I mean, what am I doing? I should be there now and have fun again and make money, serious money, good money." And that's the reason I was not going to resign. But you know, It is what it is.
It turned out to be a good. It turned out to be a good thing then. In that case, Manu Hardy. Hi Alberto, I respect and understand your choice, but I wondered, have you thought about your fans who support you since the first day in WWE? It was a shock for them. It was like you let them down after these 4 years in your side.
Well, I mean, I just want to say thanks to all those fans supporting me before the incident and after the incident. I mean, it is what it is. If some people was going to be on my side. They never heard my side of the story. They just heard what they said. Oh, hate Alberto, it's not our fault, and the incident never happened. But it happened, and that's the reason we are in this position. I'm totally free to do whatever I want. Nobody gets that. I got it because I got the right person, the right lawyer behind me.
Right, you got the right help.
Supporting me with this.
Mike from Minneapolis. Alberto, why did you let Conan convince you to come to AAA instead of going to CMLL?
The money. Everybody knows that. Nobody loves the business more than I do. I was born in this business. I was raised in the locker rooms, you know, with my family, and nobody loves this business more than I do. But at the end of the day, this is a business. You need to make money, and even though I have a lot of friends in CMLL, Conan and Dorian, the people from AAA, gave me an amazing offer. They have an amazing project down there. They have important people backing up their project, the right sponsors, and that's how they're getting big names to join their corporation.
Tanisha Henry, I'm so much as a fan of yours, Alberto, and I am so very honored to watch your wonderful matches. I have a question. I watched your matches for a long time, and now I still do. Do you feel stronger now as Alberto El Patron in AAA or as Alberto Del Rio when you were in WWE for years?
Well, you know, I had a really good run with WWE. I enjoyed the first 4 years when John Laurinaitis was in charge. All of us were making money and having fun. We knew where we going. But I mean, everybody knows that the last 2 years I was just there.
What contributed to that? What was the reason for the decline?
I don't know. I mean, they had a lot of changes in the company, in the corporate side, with producers, with writers, and I don't think the change helped most of us, or at least it didn't help me. You know?
Are they too big?
What do you mean too big? Like
the size of that company?
The size? No, I mean it's just I don't know. I mean everything was working well, and when they brought new people to work for the office, for the writing team, for the producers team, everything changed, and I don't think it changed. It changed for good. You know?
Right. Gotcha. Well, this is the first mention of El Patron, other than my introduction, which I didn't do very well, clearly. So we have the El Patron Bebe Patron game. I want to see if if you can have a sample of a better tequila, and a sample of a, well, I don't even know, what's the other brand that we got, like Enrique Puto's...
what?
I don't know what's called. Yeah, I don't know. What's the name? A and B.
Wasn't
what is
Camarena.
it?
Oh my
Camarena.
God, I'm gonna go blind with that one, brother.
So take a small amount then. So it's A and B.
Okay.
You can come right on here. Don't worry about it.
Ricardo can drink it for me. Just okay. Just
A and B.
Just by the color.
Oh well, this is interesting. So color can give you a hint.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the aroma?
No, not really.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my God. That one is the cheapest.
There we have the answer, I think. And
hold on, because that was.
You need to let that. You want a mint?
I need to digest that. Okay. B. No, I think A is Patron, and B is a chip.
No, your first instinct was correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, your second instinct was correct. Patron is A, and then Camarena
That's
is
what I
B.
said, right?
That's what you said. That was your
There you
final
go.
answer. Very good. These for future sponsors.
And I know
Right
I'm
up there on the
Mexican,
table.
but I don't normally drink tequila because I go too crazy when I do it.
What is it about tequila? You hear that a lot.
I don't know, man. I drink rum, and I can, if I'm drinking rum, I'm fine, I'm having fun. But if I drink tequila, I just go crazy. I want to fight, I want to jump. And
tells me this now. I have bad questions coming up. MMA. Let's hear about MMA. Mark Black from Pittsburgh. Who did you learn submission wrestling from in Mexico? Was it Negro Navarro, Solar, etc.?
No. Actually, I learned that move in Brazil while I was training for one of my MMA fights. I saw this tiny little guy, probably, I think he was like 50 kilograms. He was a tiny little guy, of course a fighter, and he was doing it. And I was on the other side of the gym, and I was like, oh my God, that's pretty cool. So I went there and said, hey, can you teach me that? And the guy was like, yeah, sure. This is one of the basic moves in jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, really? Because it looks really difficult. And he was like, no, it's not. Come here, I'll teach you.
He was just a random guy?
Yeah, he was a tiny little guy training jiu-jitsu at Marco Ruas dojo.
Speaking of, Salvatore M. asked for the uninitiated. Marco Ruas is a legend and was one of the first stars of No Holds Barred MMA. You had the opportunity to train with this legend. Please share some of the stories about his well-publicized full-contact training sessions at his school or anything else about him. Did he really fight that hard with his students? What kind of man was he outside the school?
Oh, he is a fantastic guy. He was helping so many people. Of course, he was charging money to some of us, fighters from Japan or me at the beginning, but he also had, young kids just there helping them to be somebody in the future. They were not paying, and he was just passing all his knowledge for free, because that's the kind of man Marco Ruas is, and he helped me a lot. Because of him is why I know how to kick, how to punch, how to submit people for real.
Justin from Nova Scotia, Canada. El Patron, at one point in your MMA career, you were on a 6-fight winning streak, all of them finishes. My question comes in 3 parts. Number 1, what was your favorite technique for finishing a fight? Number 2, did the UFC ever show any interest in signing you before you moved to WWE? 3, at 37, would you ever consider a return to professional MMA?
Well, for the first question, I never had a favorite technique. Everybody knows that I'm an amateur wrestler, so I was always using amateur wrestling in all my fights. But I mean, when you do MMA, it's you can use whatever. If you finish your fight with the punch, with the kick, or with the submission, is the same. The result is the same. You have to win no matter what. And about UFC, yes, they did. They contact my my manager in Japan, but back then we were making so much money fighting for Deep and Pride, because everybody knows that the mafia was running those companies. Well, not Deep, but they were involved with Pride, and all of us were making so much money that nobody wanted to move to UFC. Now everybody's there because it's the only big company out there. And about returning to MMA, no, I have not interested in doing that, because the money is not the same. They used to pay very well, but now there's so many fighters and few places to go that they're just paying you whatever.
But even a name like yourself couldn't command a higher...
No. Actually, I got a good offer from this new MMA company, and they're trying to... this company is going to be focused for all the Latinos around the world, and they really want to use me. They really want to have me there. But I'm 37 years old. I don't want to get up at 4 in the morning like I used to do it 15 years ago, and run for 5 miles and then go and kick a guy or get kicked by a guy for 2 hours. It's just it's not for me anymore.
And when you get to be 42, you're going to want to do it even less. Anthony Militek, is it true that getting kicked in the head by Mirko Cro Cop feels like getting hit in the head with a baseball bat?
I don't know, because I don't remember anything. It was rough. I just remember myself thinking, okay, I'm gonna go for a double leg, and then I was just next thing you know, I was in the locker room asking my brother what the fuck happened, and he was like, "Well, he knocked you out." Oh, okay.
Salvatore wants to know if you and Mirko went out for drinks after the fight. If so, what is he like outside the ring? Despite his stoic demeanor in the ring, I always thought that he had a good sense of humor outside of it. Am I right or wrong?
I don't know. I mean, that's the first time I saw Mirko, and I never saw that guy again. So I don't know.
The assassin from Jersey City, when you fought Mirko Cro Cop in Pride, you actually wore a mask during the fight. I don't think I've ever seen that before or since in any major MMA organization. What's the story behind that? And were Pride officials cool with it from the start, or did you have to fight with them behind the scenes to get them to allow it?
No, it's just everybody knows I had a big name as Dos Caras Jr. and in Mexico, the Mexican culture, the Mexican lucha libre culture, it's all about the masks. And actually, the most important match in Mexico, they don't care about the titles. They care about mask versus mask, mask versus hair. And if you lose your identity, and that's the whole deal in Mexico. And that's the reason I was wearing the mask. They never told me to wear it. I was doing it because I was respecting my traditions.
But were they cool with it? Or?
Yeah, they were totally cool. Actually, that was when they wanted to sign me. I said, if you want me to sign with you guys, I need to fight with the mask. Of course, I ended up removing that mask a few years later with WWE for no money, but but that's a different story.
Mike D from Boston. Del Rio, I have a tough question for you, so get ready. Are you ready?
Okay.
I was wondering if you could talk about Pride and whether or not a bunch of the fights were works. I was also wondering if anyone approached you about taking a dive in the Cro Cop fight. No offense to you, Cro Cop or Pride. I thought Pride was the best MMA organization ever and totally smokes the UFC, but the rumors of fake fights persist. Haha, sorry for grilling you. You rock. Stay cool, Del Rio.
Oh, that's just BS, you know. It's just, all the fights were real. I fought for them 3 times, and I can tell you, nobody came to me and say, "Oh, you're gonna win tonight,"
Right.
or you need to take a dive tonight. Now, that's
and nobody ever offered you money
a rumor.
to do that
No,
stuff.
nothing.
Pierre Doucet from Facebook. We all know about his Pride fight with Cro Cop, etc. I'd love to hear about his less-known fights where he got most of his wins.
Well, that's when I started with Deep, which is like at the moment is like that. Like right now is the only MMA organization in Japan, and they're running shows every month. But I started with them before I did my debut with Pride, and I fought a lot of important people over there, and the competition was good. The money wasn't the same because again, Pride had a lot of backup from the media, from the TV stations, and from the mafia. So they were paying really good money. But I started on Deep. They gave me the opportunity to fight for the first time in my life, and they were treating me well. I'm still friends with the owner of Deep, Mr. Saeki. Actually, I saw him last week in Japan, and he's still running his business, and he's doing good.
You mentioned the mafia a few times. You talking about like Yakuza type?
Yeah. I never met them. I never talked to them, but I knew they were paying like the 50% of our salary, and I don't know if it was real or not, but I was getting a lot of money, and I was just happy with it.
Mi familia. Justin from Nova Scotia, Canada. El Patron, you're the first member of your family, to my knowledge, to work as Rudo heel in CMLL. Was this a difficult decision for you?
No, I always wanted to be a heel because in our business, in the wrestling business, the heel is the one in control, is the one who dictates where the match is going to go and how it's going to end. So, long story short, if you are the bad guy, you are getting all the ladies, all the money, and you are the one having fun.
Very good. Roger Rutherford. Mil Moscatos being your uncle, did you guys ever team up or work together in AAA?
My uncle and I? No, never.
Salvatore M., your uncle, gets a bad rap from some wrestlers, stating that he's hard to work with and only looks to get himself over. I know I'm treading dangerous ground by asking a proud Latin man about his family, but were those critics right, and where are they absolutely wrong?
Well, he was the biggest star from Mexico. He was the best foreign wrestler in Japan, and he was doing well here in the States. Of course, it was going to be hard to work with them because, you know, even though this is not a real competition in the ring, because we know who's going to win and who's going to lose, but backstage in the locker room, that's where the real competition happens, because you need to put a match together, or you need to get along with the other guy, and nobody wants to lose. I mean, especially back then. All the old school wrestlers, they have so much pride for what they do. that it was really difficult for my uncle to do the job for somebody. Of course, now it's totally different. We all know that this is a war. But back then, when my uncle was on top, everybody thought this was for real. You know?
Right.
Everybody thought this was 100% real. So, of course, my uncle was just trying to protect his position, his main position in the companies.
Anthony Militech says Mick Foley wrote some unflattering things in his book about your Uncle Bill in his first autobiography. Did you ever have a discussion with Mick about that?
No, Mick Foley is a fantastic guy. He helped me a lot when I was in WWE. So if he had some issues with my uncle, that was their deal. It's just like me. I had some issues with some wrestlers around the world, but that was my deal. You can go and ask Ricardo about this other guy, and he will talk nice things about that guy, even though I hate that guy.
Right.
It's just like that, you know.
Jason Worthing wants to know if Mill will ever unmask in front of the wrestling
never.
audience.
He will never do that. Never, never.
Lucha, a video from Juan El Luchador. Can only imagine what's coming right now.
There you go. Ricardo, what are you doing with that mask? ¿Estás viendo esto?
El Negro Mascaras, right
Okay.
there. They want to know about, what did he even ask?
You're gonna have to show me afterwards.
What did he even ask?
Jeez, I don't know. Man.
Working in Mexico? All right, tell me about working in Mexico. How is it different from the United States? How about that?
I mean, number one, you have a lot of fun. I'm sure I'm going to have fun again working in the independent circuit and with all the other companies that I'm going to start working next year. But I think he's talking about the style. The style is, wrestling is the same everywhere, but you know, in Mexico they like to fly, they like to jump around the ring, and here in the States they use more logic in what they do. If you ask me which one is my favorite one, I cannot answer that because I enjoyed my time being a luchador, jumping and flying all over the place, but I also enjoyed the WWE style, using the logic to perform and using the logic to finish my matches and all of that.
Dylan Thomas of Greensboro, do you feel that Lucha Libre has more passion than the wrestling in WWE?
Yeah, because everybody knows, and I'm not going to lie about this, I was not having fun at the end of my career with my former company. I was just doing it because I have so much pride for what I do, and I love wrestling that much. And that's the reason I was going out there and putting an amazing match every single night. Regardless who my opponent was, I was just always giving my best. But I was not having fun. I was not happy with the whole situation. And in Mexico, you really go out there and have fun. Like here in my former company, they always say, go out there and have fun. But don't do this, don't do that, don't do that.
And you have 2 minutes.
And if you do that, you're gonna do it. We're gonna fine you with $25,000, and you have 2 minutes to get over. Okay. And in Mexico, you just go out there and really have fun.
Okay. Nick Gator says, how big was the difference in the locker room atmosphere between Mexico and your former company?
It's like heaven and hell in heaven, brother. Seriously, I mean,
What?
In my former company, they're just waiting for you to turn your back, to stab you to death, and or they're just waiting for you to trip and break your neck.
The
and
boys?
die. Everybody. And in Mexico, it's just, you know, you go there and you work with friends. They there for the same reason. They want to entertain the crowd, and they want to make money, and they want to get over. But I mean, it's totally different. You work with friends down there.
Tyler Schleppe, what was it like working with Atlantis?
Oh my God, my padrino is like we call him the Godfather in Mexico. He's just amazing. He's a legend of lucha libre, and he's also a great guy. One of those guys who will always pass his knowledge to make you a better wrestler. That's the kind of person Atlantis is.
Great. Tanisha Henry, I'm really looking forward to your title match in December with Tejano Jr. Alberto. I know you're going to be great in that match. My question, if you had a chance or a choice to choose a stip what would it be?
Just one fall and no chairs and ladders and all that crap.
A regular match.
A regular match, please.
Derek Simonetti from Project Zero Wrestling, will you be showing up on Lucha Underground sometime in the near future?
Sure, I'm pretty sure I'll be there next year.
All right, well this is a perfect time for Las Máscaras de Lucha game. We have the masks from around Mexican wrestlers. We would like you to rank them. Okay. Maybe give me the top 3. They're coming up on your screen, as you can see. Not specific to the person, but just the style. Give me the top 3 masks.
You mean for me as
personally?
The way people see these guys, or the way
not the guys, the way you just actually the style of the mask.
Oh, the style of the mask.
Yes.
The mask.
Not the talent.
Well, my uncle's mask was fantastic. Oh no, this one was.
Apart.
The design is fantastic. Then my uncle and I would say my father.
Your father, number 1?
Number 3.
Okay.
Yeah. No, number 1, La Parca. The design
La Parca.
is amazing. And the number 2 will be my uncle, and then number 3 my dad, or Kanek. Those 2 masks are awesome.
No love for the Blue Demon.
No, it's just a simple mask, you know.
Great.
I mean, if you're talking about name, about what they did for the business, it's a different deal.
The gimmick. Nick Gator, who decided you should work without a mask in WWE?
Well, pretty much everybody. They were like, you know, the way they work in WWE is you sell all your emotions through your face, and wearing a mask is really difficult to show the crowd what you're feeling or what you're doing. There's only one guy in the world who can really show the audience what he's feeling in that moment with the mask, and that's Rey Mysterio. The way the body motion, the way he was moving his body, he's the only one who knows how to tell the people when he's suffering, when he's selling, even though his face is covered by that mask, he transmits that to the crowd, but he's the only one in the world.
Is it difficult? This may surprise you, but I've never worked in the ring. Is wearing the mask, does it cut down on your visibility?
Yeah. It's really hard to breathe, to see. I mean, I used to wear a mask for years and years, but before that, I used to have a lot of respect for all the Mexican luchadors, because, you know, the 90% of those guys wear masks, and it's really difficult, man. Yeah.
It would seem. Salvatore M. Vince McMahon has been somewhat hands-off when it comes to character creation in the last couple of years, but I see a lot of shades of the $1 Million Man, a gimmick that McMahon based on himself, in the Mexican aristocrat Alberto Del Rio character. Did Vince have any input into your character? If so, what did he teach you about doing it?
Oh, yeah. The reason I was in top for so long is because he's a fan of Alberto Del Rio's work. He always liked me. He always said that I was the only real heel in the company, and that's the reason he had me on top. Even though the other part didn't want to use me in the main events or in the main stories anymore, he always wanted to have me there because he supports my work, not only my work but Ricardo's. So the whole deal between Ricardo and I.
Did he base any of, do you think, what the character was on, like a Ted DiBiase gimmick?
Yeah, I don't think so. He was always telling us how to improve, or what we could use to get better in the ring and to make a better character week by week.
Okay. Big D, hi Alberto, 2 questions. Since your character was very much an updated $1 Million Man, did the office make sure that you traveled in a way that enriched the gimmick? Limos, first class seats on planes, hookers and cocaine. Also, were you ever in character when you were out in public? And if so, was this by choice or were you instructed by the office?
No, I mean, at the beginning I was flying coach all the time. I got first class after when my first contract expired. I said, okay, I'm going to resign with you guys, but I need first class because it's just I'm a big guy, and it's really difficult to me to travel from here or just overseas for 10 hours, 12 hours in a plane in a tiny little seat. So I really need that, and they gave it to me. But I mean, I use those limos or those luxurious cars just for 5 seconds.
But they didn't provide
in the
you with
arena,
them
but I
to
was
keep
not.
the
I was
gimmick.
not driving them or using them out of the arenas.
How about the hookers
We
and the
were
blow?
renting our cars. We were renting cars and in hotel rooms.
How about the hookers and the blow? Let's not get past this. Is this
No, I mean,
nothing? No? Okay.
no, I'm not really into that.
Tony Mirabelle, I always thought you were a phenomenal heel, and your face turn was rather abrupt. Did you want to turn face, or did the office force?
No, not at all. That was not even Vince. That was somebody in the office thinking, "Oh, he will be good. I think it's a good idea if we turn Alberto a babyface." And I was never happy. I was not happy since the beginning, but I did it because when you work for that company, you have to do whatever they say. You have to follow orders, and you cannot say no.
Right.
And that's the reason I did it. But in the moment I had the opportunity to talk to Vince and let him know that I was not happy, I did it. And
What did
that's
he say?
No, he said I didn't want to do it since the beginning. But they want to do it. They thought it was going to be a good idea, especially because they need the Latinos, the Mexicans, they need a babyface wrestler. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not that guy because I don't feel comfortable. I'm not enjoying what I'm doing in the ring, and if I don't enjoy what I'm doing in the ring, they're not going to enjoy it. So
Vince took your side with that.
Yeah. No, I mean, once I had the chance to talk to him, I did it, and I think it was the next week when they did the double turn in Vengeance. I don't remember if we were in Chicago. You remember those things? I think we were in Chicago. No, it was Payback. Payback, yes.
Okay. London says, I'm a huge fan of Alberto. I think he's one of the best wrestlers in the modern era and was the best wrestler in the WWE while he was there. What does he have to say about his haters or naysayers? The people who say he was boring and didn't deserve to be pushed or was pushed too fast. I always thought he was pushed before he had a chance to understand the fickleness of the American audience, but that his wrestling talents definitely warranted his fast, heavy push. Do you get a lot of criticism?
Well, not a lot, but I mean, he said it all. I'm one of the best in-ring performers of all time. I mean, everybody wanted to work with me when I was there because they knew or they know that if they're in the ring with me, the match is going to be good. And I was always the architect of that match, or we were always the architects of the match. We were building that masterpiece together, Ricardo and I, and then when they split us, I was just, putting all the match together, and that's why everybody wanted to work with me. Of course, I'm gonna have people hating me, especially because outside the arenas, outside the business, I don't like to be bothered. A lot of people hated me because we were coming here, especially this area, because we have the biggest fans, the hardcore fans are in this area. Most of them are in this area. And we were getting into New York or Boston or any of those airports, and they were waiting for us at 4 a.m. And then after a 12-hour flight, and they wanted us to take pictures and sign autographs, and I was just like not in the mood to do it.
Right.
And they always hated me for that. But I mean, I'm sorry. When I'm here, I'm working. And when I'm in a convention, I'm working, and I will do whatever you want because you paid your ticket to see me or to see us. But man, if I'm in the airport and all I want to do is go to bed, or if I'm with my family in a restaurant, you have to respect that.
Right. Understood. Robert Knight, what did you resent the most about creative, since it's a consistent problem with past WWE stars?
Well, like I said earlier, everything was fantastic at the beginning. We had the right writers, the right producers taking care of us or backing us up, and everything was great the first 4 years. It's just when they changed all the writers and they brought new producers, that's when everything changed, and I was just not happy because they were not creating or doing good things for us, or at least for me.
Smitty T. Mockingbird, what happened to the Chihuahua?
I don't know. He went back to San Diego.
Rides. Take me on the road. Samshula Biani from Dallas, Texas. What was your favorite car you used when you did your original ring entrance? Did any of the cars get damaged? Were they ever vandalized as a rib? Did fans ever get you with soda popcorn while you were driving afterwards when you exited the car?
No, nothing. I never had an incident while I was driving those cars, and my favorite was the Bentleys. The Bentleys are always fun.
Brad Bierlick from Facebook. Did you ever receive any death threats after running over Santa Claus?
Yeah, from my son. No, nothing crazy after that incident.
Nick Gator, why did they stop using the cars in the entrance?
That's a good question. He should ask that to WWE, not to me.
This chapter is called Ricardo. Rick's 1024 from Wales. Whose idea was it to pair you up with Ricardo Rodriguez? What was it like working with him?
Oh, it was Vince. It was Vince's whole idea, and it worked well. We had a great thing going on, but somebody over there hated Ricardo, and that's the reason they split us. But we were having fun. We were having fun and helping everybody every single night.
Is it true somebody disliked Ricardo and they separated you because of that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just
even if it was bad for the product, they would just do that to spite you?
They do that all the time, and they did it. It was just one guy, one important guy not liking Ricardo, and he was like, I don't like this.
It was Steve Lombardi, wasn't it? It was Pat Patterson. Because he said no.
No.
Come on, man.
No. Pat was always nice to us.
All right.
He's a fantastic guy. He helped me a lot while I was there.
Did you get along with Doc Hendry, with Michael Hayes?
I mean, he's okay.
Another tequila. We're going to get that story.
Well, I'm going to need the whole bottle to give you the story.
Mike Chiappetto, okay, we got that already. Why'd they split up you? Tony Mirabella, do you feel that losing the car gimmick and losing Ricardo hurt your character?
Yes, of course, because he was cool. I mean, if I'm a wrestling fan and I'm in the arena, I'm expecting to see Alberto having his amazing introduction made by Ricardo, and then see him driving those luxurious cars. At the moment you remove that from me, it was like something was missing, and I felt that way. If I felt that way, of course the fans felt the same way. You know?
A video from Morgan Scopes.
Hi, Del Rio. This is Morgan Scopes from blog.scopescopingout.com. And I was wondering, which part of your career in WWE did you like better? Working with Ricardo Rodriguez, or after you two broke up, and why? Thank you.
Now, of course, the beginning of the whole Alberto Del Rio deal with Ricardo, and feuding with Rey Mysterio, with Edge. That's when we were having fun. That's when we really were having fun in that company.
Game Changer asks, in a recent show, we heard from Game Changer again, huh? You guys have a chat, an inter-WWE messaging system or something? No?
No, not me.
Not you. In a recent shoot interview, Ricardo made it seem very much like he was the reason for your success. Do you believe this to be true?
Hold up.
No, I mean, Ricardo will never say that. I mean, we were a team. The same guy the same guy wanted to split us since the beginning, just after 3 months of working together, and I always said no. I was always going to Vince and giving him the reasons why we needed to be together, and he liked it. He liked the
right.
product. He liked what we were doing every single night.
WWE, or maybe we can call this the former company. McWhalen, do you know what the original plan for you after winning the 2011 Royal Rumble? Were you going to get the world title at WrestleMania 27, or were you supposed to lose to Edge regardless of his career-ending injury?
Well, I was supposed to win it that night, but that very same day they changed the order. I don't even know why, and of course I was a little bit upset, but I totally understand the nature of my business. It's just a work. It's not. I mean, you're not. It doesn't matter if you win or lose as long as the match is good. So that it matters.
The Cajun Sensation has sent us a video.
Oh yeah,
There you
Cajun
go.
Sensation has huge fucking arms. Hey ADR, were you disappointed that your WrestleMania title match against Edge went on first? And when was the decision made to open the show with the World Championship match?
Okay.
Well, I didn't care. You know, I was in the company for only 4 months at the time. I was having the opportunity to go for the World Heavyweight title against a legend like Edge. I was happy. I didn't care. He cared. Edge was disappointing. Edge wasn't happy going on first, but to me, I was just enjoying that night. A sold out building, 80-something thousand people was there to watch the whole show, and I was happy. Of course, I was a little bit upset when they told me that I was not going to win the title that night, but again, this is just a work.
Gotcha. David S. Frederick from www.titosantana.net. Whose idea was it for Tito Santana to announce you at Monday Night Raw?
I will say the producers, the writers. I don't even know. Yeah, when you work in that place, you don't know the 99% of the things, or the 99% of the time you don't know where you're going.
Where it's coming from.
They change things every week, so I don't know.
Maria from Portugal, how did it feel being the babyface during your match with Batista on Elimination Chamber? Of course, technically, you were the heel, but the fans were completely on your side and firmly against anything Batista did. In your opinion, do you think it messed with Batista's head, and did he show it, backstage or in the ring?
Not backstage. In the ring, he was a little bit disappointed and nervous, and he was really tired because the crowd was messing with him. But, I was playing my part, he was playing his part, and at the end, we ended up having a really good match, and I was still working as a heel, even though they were cheering for me. I was still doing my job.
Mm-hmm. Derek Simonetti.
Hi, Derek Simonetti from Project Zero Wrestling here. Alberto Del Rio, the man who's responsible for kicking off the longest championship reign in the modern era, but you were also responsible for kicking off one other thing for a returning superstar. And with that being said, I have one question that I'm sure that you and Sean, I'm sure you've heard this one before. ¿Qué tan grande es Dick de Batista?
Oh my God. What's your problem, kid?
Every show they ask us how big Batista's dick is.
I don't know. I don't even
know.
No
idea, huh?
They ask.
They all care for some reason.
Good luck with that.
Salvatore M. in the WWE, what is the rule for wrestlers if a fan rushes into the ring and gets past security and referees and attacks you? Are you allowed to tune them up like in the old days, or do you try and restrain yourself to the best of your ability in order to
There's
avoid
nothing
people?
you can do. You have to stay there and wait and wait for the security team to remove that guy from the ring. Just, what happened to me after the incident. So imagine if one of the wrestlers punch or do something, whatever, to a wrestling fan. I'm pretty sure they will fire him the next day.
Even if he got past the...
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They have so many ridiculous, stupid rules at the moment.
Keith from Vancouver, Canada, in your opinion, who should be main eventing WWE that currently isn't right now?
I don't know. I think they have the right person main event. And I don't watch the product. I was not watching the product when I was there. I'm not watching it now. But if John Cena is still the main eventer, he deserves that position in the company.
Daniel O'Leary, who's the stiffest guy you were in the ring with?
I would say Sheamus. Yeah, that guy. Every time that guy kicks you, it hurts for real. Actually, when the kick is coming, you have to hold your head because he will kick it for real, and you will see your head flying all over the place.
Is he a dick?
No, he's a great guy.
He's a good guy?
No, he's a great guy.
We sometimes hear stuff about Sheamus.
No, he's a great guy. He's one of my friends. He's a stiff, but what I like about Sheamus is that he can take it, because everybody knows that if you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you 3 times more. Everybody knows that in the business, and he knew that if he for some reason he punched me hard, I was going to punch him 10 times harder, and he always took it. And he's also a great guy, one of my friends in the business.
Ryan Schumach, Facebook, who are your favorite and least favorite people to work with in WWE?
Well, I enjoyed every single moment with all the wrestlers, all the feuds I had that I had with WWE. I really enjoyed working with Ray. It was fantastic, but I also enjoyed my run with Christian, Sheamus. They're all great wrestlers, Or like John Cena. John Cena, he's so super over that whatever you do to John, you're gonna get a reaction from the crowd. So it was fun working with John Cena.
Infamous Moments 911. I only read the questions, Alberto. WWE made you, so what if you got fired? They made WWE and they made you WWE World Champion. Now you're talking shit. We'll see you back in 5 years, and you're going to act as if nothing happened. You suck, puto.
Well, because
Anything for infamous moments? How do you feel, though?
Well, listen, it is what it is. You're going to have some supporters, and there's going to be people supporting the company.
Right.
They can think whatever they want. I mean, I'm not trying to plead my case or to tell everybody to love me. I'm also not telling the people to hate the company. They can think whatever they want. If this guy thinks that I'm just bitter because they fired me, that's not the case. I mean, they did great things to me.
Okay.
They gave me a name. I'm always going to be grateful for that. They gave me a name, and now that's the reason I'm doing so well. I'm getting all those opportunities in Mexico. That's why I'm packing every single building in Mexico, because they gave me a name. They put me out there, and I went from being a national superstar as Dos Caras Jr. to be a global superstar as Alberto Del Rio. So I'm always going to be grateful.
Okay. Sin Cara is this chapter. Jan Chapman, why did you love kicking the shit out of the original Sin Cara, a.k.a. Mystico, so much? Is there heat, or were you just working stiff with each other? Were you surprised when he was replaced by Hunico and fired?
We were never working stiff. I mean, I think I stiffed him one time, and one time only, because I got mad because I think he broke his finger doing a dive, and he told the referee to stop the match. And that's when I was having this other part, not happy or not wanting to use me in the pay-per-views, and I was like, oh my God, Vince is not here, and we only have these guys, and you lazy bastard, stop the match because you broke one of your fingers. I got really mad, and I threw him inside the ring, and I kicked him for real. But of course, after the match, I said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, but you're just lazy. What happened? Where's your heart? Where's your pride for the business?" And he was like, "Well, I just don't want to be here anymore." And I said, "Well, then leave, brother." And he did. He quit the company like 2 weeks after.
Chris Taylor, Conan noted on his MLW podcast in 2012 that the original Sin Cara started to get a big head in Mexico after becoming a star. He went on to say that Del Rio once approached Cara backstage at a show in Mexico, and either Cara or a member of Cara's posse pulled a gun on Del Rio. Is this true?
Yeah, that happened a long time ago. But, he apologized when we were working for WWE, and he was like, that happened, and I'm sorry. I was a little bit tipsy. Or
was it him or one of his crew?
It was one of his crew.
And what were they angry with you about?
But they were just, they were partying, they were drinking,
having fun.
They were having fun, and I got mad because we were waiting for them for like 3 hours, and of course when they got to the building, I said something and they got upset. But I mean, it's in the past. We're cool right now.
Eduardo Frietas, hey Del Rio, do you think Mystico faked a lot of his injuries in the WWE so he didn't have to work and still get paid? Keep it real, dog.
I don't know. I mean, who can say, or who can tell you that if you're hurt or not? I mean, he was hurt. I mean, he's been hurt for a while. He used to work in Mexico for years and years, using that high fly style. And rings in Mexico, arenas in Mexico are not like the ones we have here in the States. The rings in Mexico are really stiff. So I know he's hurt for real. I don't know if he was faking some injuries or not. That's a question they need to ask us in Cara.
Is that something that he would do? The person, his character of a human being?
I don't think so. All that I know is that he wasn't happy anymore with WWE. They promised him a lot of things, and he never saw any of those promises, and that's the reason he wasn't happy.
Ryan via Facebook, who was better at the Sin Cara character, Mystico or Hunico? You wrestled them both.
Well, the first Sin Cara as a luchador, not in the American style, not in the WWE style. I'm just talking about lucha libre. There's nobody like the first Sin Cara. In the lucha libre style, Sin Cara, the first Sin Cara or Mystico, he was just amazing. The problem is he never understood the American style. That's what happened to him. He never learned the style. I don't know if he didn't care or not, but he was never able to perform well because the style is so different.
Let's go behind the scenes. Bernardo Duarte, I want to ask Alberto if he ever witnessed any backstage fights and who was involved.
No, we have, I mean, I think now the 70% of those guys in the company at the moment, they have never been in a real fight in their life. I mean, seriously, I don't, the 70% of the roster, they have never been in a real fight in their life. So that answers your question.
Okay. The Mafia Wanks from Australia. Alberto, do wrestlers like it when fans rush them at the airport for autographs and photos? What is the proper protocol to approach wrestlers at airports? I'm actually from Melbourne, Australia, and can't afford to make it to the States for WrestleMania, so my friends and I have to get our satisfaction by meeting wrestlers at the airport. What should he do?
There's no proper way. After, especially if
flying to Australia.
We flew into Australia after 30 hours in a goddamn plane. You really think we want to take pictures and sign orders? No, come on. You just have some common sense. We're going to the hotel. Why don't you wait for us? Instead of waiting for us in the airport, wait for us in the hotel. We're going to get there, we're going to take a shower, we're going to eat, and after that, we're going to be happy, and we're going to be willing to do whatever you want. We can take 1,000 pictures if you want to, but give us a break.
Okay. Andy from Kingston, Ontario, Canada. I'm a huge fan of the series. You shoots always look professional, unlike others. Here's my question for Alberto. In September 2011, I was waiting out back of a house show in Kingston, Ontario, Canada for all the wrestlers to arrive. You pulled up in a shitty economy car driven by Ricardo Rodriguez. My buddy and I popped for that. At the time, your gimmick was driving fancy cars, so my buddy and I started to make fun of you. You got really mad and screamed at me, "Are you fucking stupid?" among other things. My question is, were you playing your character that day, or were my buddy and I really close to getting our asses kicked?
I don't think he was making fun of me, because if he would have, I would have, slapped the shit out of him. No, I mean, but I do believe that we were driving a cheap-ass economy car, because, especially in Canada, because everything is expensive over there. Yeah, I mean, the gimmick, the character was the one with the money and driving those luxurious cars. But the truth is that we always needed to pay for our cars and hotels when we were working for that company. So, man, we all have to save money.
So you don't remember?
I don't remember
him
that
coming up to you. Okay.
I think he's just throwing crap out there.
Salvatore M. So, per the superstar formerly known as Brodus Clay, guys like Dolph Ziggler didn't mind so much about getting jobbed out night in, night out because, quote, it's not real and we're all happy to have a job, so don't care about if we're winning or losing. I don't think those were his exact words, but it follows what he expressed in his U-Shoot. So pro wrestlers have no egos whatsoever, is that right? Do wrestlers really not care if they're getting jobbed out every night as long as they get a paycheck? Remember, some, not all, of the guys got into the sport to maybe overcompensate for some sort of deep-rooted childhood trauma.
Oh
you want
God.
me to believe that they don't care about getting jobbed out every night as long as they get paid?
I don't know from where that kid is getting that, but of course we do care about getting jobbed. You know, it's just, especially when you are an amazing wrestler as Dolph Ziggler is. Of course, you care about winning or losing, because you know that you are the one who put that match together, and you are the one who created the magic in that match. Of course, we care. That's the reason we had an amazing feud together. That's the reason we were having amazing matches together, because we were in the same channel. You had Dolph Ziggler, who is one of the best wrestlers in history. You had me, and I'm one of the best wrestlers in history. And every time we were together in the ring, we were having fun, creating things. We didn't care who was going to win or who was going to lose, because we knew we were going to steal the show that night, and we did it every single night. They were moving us on the card, because nobody, even the main eventers, the big names, none of them wanted to go after us.
Wow. Christine Krentz, what guy in the back is Triple H fond of the most and the least?
I mean, to be honest, I was always dealing with Vince and some other people. I was never part of Triple H's group, so I cannot say anything about that.
Raj from London says, what do the boys really think of Triple H?
You need to ask them. They will tell you a lot of things.
Keith from Vancouver, how is your relationship with Stephanie, Triple H, and Vince? Who out of the three of them treated you the best? Or the worst?
Vince was fantastic. I mean, he was a big supporter of Alberto Del Rio. He was the one who gave me the opportunity to be in a main spot or to do the main storylines. It was him. He always liked my work. And again, I was never part of that group.
Stephanie, Hunter.
Steph and Hunter and his friends. I was never part of that group.
Who were his friends?
Oh, well, you know, his friends, Road Dogg, and all the guys in that circle, in that group. I was never part of that. So it was Vince, the one always treating me well.
The Horsecock Express. Several wrestlers have said it's okay to stand up to or argue a bit with Vince. Others say, just keep your mouth shut. How did you handle the man signing your checks?
Well, no one can argue with Vince. I mean, I don't know where they got that, but I mean, no one can argue with Vince. He's a man.
Or disagree, maybe. Say, I don't know if that's the right idea for my character. No.
Yes, you can. I did it several times. I mean, if you do it in the right way, right. If you act like a diva and try to make him do whatever you want, of course he's going to say no, or he's going to fire your ass immediately. But if you do it the right way, he listens, and if you're right, he will do it. Okay.
Developmental. Owner says, when you first started in WWE and ended up in FCW, did you want to start in developmental, and did you have heat with any of the talent?
No heat with anybody, and of course, who wants to be in FCW? Who wanted to be in FCW? That was like hell for me, you know. I was there, and I needed to pay my dues again, you know, after 11, 12 years of career. I was there setting chairs and rings and doing all the stuff you got to do when you join the company.
Do you think that's right?
It is right, because we all have to pay our dues when
but you did. You paid the dues?
Yeah, but I was not supposed to do it, but I'm one of the boys. Back then, it was John Laurinaitis hiring me, and he told the trainers, okay, he doesn't have to do that. He has a different deal. But it was me doing it, because I'm one of the boys, and I didn't want to be just there and having those guys saying, oh, look at this lazy Mexican.
Gotcha.
He's not doing anything.
Here's somebody you might know.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, Alberto. It's your old buddy, Kurt Hawkins. I know we had a lot of fun nights out in Tampa when we were both in FCW. What are some of your favorite moments while training down there with Dr. Tom and Dusty Rhodes and Norman Smiley?
That's awesome. Yeah, a really good friend. He helped me a lot when I got there, because when I got to Florida, when I got to FCW, I couldn't understand the style, because it's so different. The lucha libre style and the American style are so different that I was like, why are they doing this? I mean, the first week was so hard for me, and then I needed to adapt and wrestle, because as you know, in Mexico we wrestle on the right side, and here in the States you do it on the left side. So to me, I was like, Jesus Christ, I mean, I suck in the American style. It was hard for me. And then I met Kurt Hawkins, and he was like, no, brother, come here. We can stay after practice and work in whatever you want to work. And he helped me a lot. I had a lot of fun working with him, with the Dude Busters, with Norman, with Dusty, with Dr. Tom. They helped me a lot. I never liked the system, you know, because I was a 30-year-old man having a schedule for the first time in his life, waking up at 8, going to the gym from 9 to 11 every single day, doing those shows for 20 people, 30 people, when I was doing shows in Mexico for 10,000, 15,000 people being the main eventer. So it was really difficult for me, but it helped me a lot. It's because I was there or because I spent some time in FCW, why I became such a good wrestler in the American style.
Okay.
Because those guys helped me.
Let's talk about the nightlife in Tampa.
It was fun.
But I wasn't going to ask about that.
Man, it was fun, especially with those guys. They know everybody in Tampa. Well, you can ask Ricardo. He was like the master of the universe in Tampa. It's fun. It was fun.
What cities have the best, the prettiest ladies? Why don't we say that?
I would say Miami. Miami is just insane.
Globally, I'm talking about. You give it to Miami?
Well, Guadalajara, Mexico, Miami, and Hungary and Slovakia in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, you go there and you go crazy, man.
Okay, Salvatore M. I was just in Hungary in my mind for a minute. I have to come back. What are the main differences between the superstars that the WWE factory is producing by ways of its farming system and Performance Center and Performance Center and an old school wrestler who are second generation like yourself who came up working? Okay, the new guys that are being grown by the WWE versus guys coming in from somewhere else.
Well, they only have that in NXT or in FCW, but if you take a moment to see who is doing the main events in WWE at the moment, they all came from Ring of Honor, from Japan, from Mexico. They haven't created a superstar coming exclusively from NXT. They haven't done it yet, and that was the case with me. I was a superstar in Mexico and Japan. They hired me, and all I needed to do was learn the American style, and then I was ready. And they're doing the same with all those guys from Ring of Honor. They're fantastic wrestlers, and all they're doing with them is, okay, you're a fantastic wrestler, but we want you to wrestle like this. Deal.
W.D. Hatfield. Was Psicodelico given the right opportunity to succeed in the developmental system?
No, he was there for 2 months. He was still trying to find his identity because first, the first thing they said was, oh, we want to use you with the mask. And then 2 months after, they were like, oh, we don't like the mask. We want you without it. And then they fired him 2 weeks after. So they never gave him a real opportunity.
Sex and drugs. Wake up. Courtney Summers from Honolulu, Hawaii. Alberto, how close to reality was the character you portrayed in WWE? Also, you seem like a family guy through and through. How did you navigate the temptations of the road that often lead to a career downfall in the WWE?
Because I come from a great family. I grew up in a house or in a family where everybody was involved in sports. My dad was part of the national wrestling team. He was also a bodybuilder. He was always working for the business to make the business better. And I grew up watching that and listening to all his advices. And that's the reason I was never interested in those kind of things. And I was not. I mean, that was just Alberto Del Rio. The way I portrayed that character on TV, that was just for TV. I'm a family guy. I love my family, and that was one of the reasons why I was not going to resign with WWE because my family was missing me. They were needing me at home, and working for these guys, I was on the road the 90% of the time.
Keith from Vancouver, Canada. Out of all the divas, who'd you want to bang the most?
I'm not going to answer that.
There wasn't one that stood out among the pack.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're all nice. They're all very nice.
They're all beautiful and they're great girls. But
okay, let's go to F, marry, kill. You ever play F, marry, kill?
No.
You gotta fuck one, you gotta marry one, and you have to kill one.
Jesus Christ.
Have to pick one for each.
I will marry Vicky, I will kill Rosa, and I will, what? Date the other one?
F.
Okay. Oh, okay. I don't want to say that, but.
So it's F, Melina,
there you go.
marry Rosa, kill Vicky.
No, I killed Rosa.
Oh, kill Rosa, marry Vicky.
And I
I'm sorry.
married Vicky.
That was the Latino lady version
I'm sorry,
of
Rosa.
F,
That wasn't
Marry,
me. It's
Kill.
this guy. It's this guy. He's forcing me to do.
The Horsecock Express. How were the rats in Mexico in your younger days? Jesus Christ, I can only imagine the shit that must go down. Will you please give us a couple of good stories about hammering them like chop meat?
Oh my God.
After Seidel and Brodus Clay acting like choir boys, it's time for someone to finally man up the noble you-shoot tradition of getting dirty.
I don't do that, man. I don't go with any rats. I just
In your younger days,
just go and work.
your younger days, young man in Mexico, star of the business, they must have been like picking flowers.
yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Long time ago, of course. We all have a past.
Yeah, and it
and
was
your
fun.
past is most men's fantasies.
And it was fun, brother. I
believe
can
it.
tell you that.
You always stay safe, the protection,
Yeah, of
you go to
course.
the doctor, take care. All right, Jack Reigns. Which WWE star smokes cigarettes? Oddly enough, this is a huge topic often debated on message boards.
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't remember any of those guys smoking.
Randy?
No,
No, not Randy.
no.
Larry's like dick.
Probably the producers and writers. but
Right.
I don't remember
None of the
anyone
workers.
smoking.
How about weed?
Well, that's a different.
Okay, that's a different ballgame. Salvatore M. I take a lot of umbrage with things the superstar formerly known as Brodus Clay said in his U-shoot. One of which is that absolutely drives me mad is that apparently when the superstars aren't wrestling, they stay in their rooms and play video games and read comic books. Are you fucking for real? I'm a 36-year-old man. You think I'm that dumb to believe that a healthy 25-year-old male wrestler, I'm sorry, I meant superstar, like Dolph Ziggler or the testosterone-filled Ryback doesn't have some hot chick in every town that they don't tear away at when they're doing a live event? Give me a break. Is the whole read comic books and play video games just a work?
Well, no. We have some guys doing that every single day. We saw them. I remember a bunch of guys reading comics and just doing stupid things while we were touring in Europe. And I remember myself and Ricardo just going like, "Look at this."
Well, you know what it is? When we talk to the old school guys, it's one thing. When we talk to the new guys today, it's a totally different world, right?
Yeah.
They live it very differently than...
Yeah, but it's normal. They grew up with that. I mean, we are in a different era where that company is trying to change the business and they're trying to change the way people see wrestlers. And we grew up in a different era when everybody was having fun and enjoying life and enjoying wrestling.
Right.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with those guys reading comics or playing video games. That's their deal. Fine, you know. If they're happy with that,
They're not making trouble, so...
yeah.
Leaves more of the other stuff for the other guys.
There you go.
Aaron from Cincinnati, what percentage of the WWE locker room currently uses performance-enhancing drugs? Why don't you name a few names while you're at it?
Well, I don't know. We have that wellness policy, and they test all the talent every month, every week. You don't even know when they're going to come. So it's really difficult to use substances. And
Yeah, you can't, basically, right? Because they're random
I mean,
tests.
you can, but if you
Well,
do it, you're going to lose a lot of money. You know, if the fine is $5,000 the first time, then $25,000 the second time, and then I think you get fired. So I mean, why if they don't want you to use anything? Why are you going to do it? Why are you going to put your money in jeopardy?
They test for everything. Growth hormone, everything they test
Everything,
for?
everything. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe some guys are doing it, but they all try to kayfabe you. You know, every time you go and say, "Hey man, you're looking great. What are you taking?" They're like, I'm just eating rice and chicken." That's all they say. So I cannot give you a name.
So they even kayfabe each other, like it's not back in the
About
day where they'd go,
everything.
"Hey, look, try some."
No,
The Dirt. All right, let's have some fun. Keith from Vancouver. In late August 2013, he was seen with a puffy face and a black and blue eye. It was reported that you and Drew Galloway were involved in a bar fight with some locals the previous night. What's the story behind this?
Well, that's what happened. We were having fun in a bar, and then we got into a bar fight, and suddenly one guy came from behind and hit me with a bottle right in the face, and that was it. I mean, we kicked their asses, and that was it.
What city was it?
We were in LA, but that was it. The next day, I worked in SummerSlam, and of course, I had a big black eye because they smashed a bottle in my face.
Right.
But that was it.
I know in the old days, guys would sometimes have problems in bars with guys trying to call them out, like, "Yeah, you're a fake wrestler." Does that go on now, or does everyone accept that it's just entertainment?
Well, not to us. I mean, it never happened to us. I think we had like one or two guys in 5-6 years trying to be funny, but you know, we always stopped them, and nothing bad happened.
Okay, Jack Reigns, did AJ Lee have heat backstage for being Punk's girlfriend and later wife after he left?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, I was never friends with her. I respect her and everything, but she was in her zone and I was in my zone, so I don't really know. Probably, you know. I mean, they hate everybody in that place, so probably.
Sergey from Russia. I want to ask a question on Tribute to the Troop shows. Do you know any instances of wrestlers didn't want to do the show due to their political views or disagreement with U.S. external policy, for example? I can imagine that going over well with Vince.
No, I mean, when you're there, you have to do whatever they want. Even if you don't like it or you don't want to do it, you have to do it.
Jack Reigns. Do you know anything about the Bella Twins' alleged fetish, as claimed by Tony Atlas? Let's take a look and see exactly what Tony told us.
Twins. Put them in there.
Right in there, huh? Well, how about that?
They were like that video.
Oh, that's how they were living, huh?
But they like doing it to people.
Did you get a bit of a show?
No, I'm just here in the dressing room. Some guys, they did that to them. They wait for you to fall asleep and they go and pee crap on you. I was in Arizona and they flop around in a tub, in the swimming pool, not a stitch of clothes on.
Good for them.
I went to my room.
You ever hear them urinating on men?
No, I mean, they're great girls. I have so much respect for them. They were always nice to me and to Ricardo, so no, I mean, I don't know, I mean.
Where would Tony get this one? Tony's a strange guy.
I mean, people like to talk, you know, people like to talk, but in my experience, these girls are just fantastic girls.
Okay, good. VIP dog or VIP dog. Mr. ADR, before asking my question, I just want to say that I enjoyed your work with WWE and look forward to seeing you elsewhere. My question is around real-life filthy perros, filthy perro dogs, which I always thought was such a great insult that you used towards the fans. Were there any wrestlers that were privately known to be filthy perros, specifically that they did not wash their ring gear or had less than ideal personal hygiene? With the travel and crunch time that you all seem to be under, I could imagine that laundry could be an issue. Also, where did you come up with the insult in general?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of guys like that, especially when we were touring overseas. You know, after 10, 12 days, he was like, "Hey man, you go and try to find a wash machine. What's your problem? I have to work with you."
Doesn't every hotel have washing machines, or are there places
yes,
that
they just don't do it because they're lazy. And that perros insult, I don't know. I don't even remember from where that came from.
Who smelled the worst in the ring for you?
I don't know. Pretty much everybody.
Really?
Yeah,
the bigger guys.
Especially after touring for 10, 15 days.
You guilty of this as well?
I will say so. Maybe. I don't know. You need to ask the other guys, probably.
Jack Reigns, was Darren Young's coming out just a WWE PR stunt?
I don't know. I was never friends with him, so I don't know. I don't know what the deal was with him. I don't even know if he's in the company still. Is he? I don't know. No, I don't know.
Robert Hurley from Dublin, Ireland. When Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson returned to WWE to wrestle at both Survivor Series and 2 WrestleManias headline spots back-to-back, there were reports that some talents had taken offense, seeing it as someone coming in and taking a big spot that should have been kept for talents on the roster. Did you witness any of this? If so, who was angry about it, and what was the general consensus backstage, as well as your own opinion?
I don't know about the other guys, but to me, it was great that we had Dwayne with us because he was helping us. He was putting people in those seats. He was bringing a different audience to our sport. people who never watched wrestling, they started to watch it because of him. So no, I mean, guys like him, especially somebody who is so down to earth, like The Rock. I mean, guys like that are always welcome in our business.
Okay. Cap from Philly. Alberto, when I watch WWE, I often wonder why some guys are kept around and not released due to not improving. Some are kept around for years. I won't name any names, but my question is there still a cream team within WWE that enables certain individuals under contract to keep their jobs through alternative methods? What year did Miz and Brad Maddox join it?
I don't know. It's just, I mean, I was always talking about the same with Ricardo and all the Indeciables. I mean, the group of people, my friends, you know, the Matadors and.
But specifically saying who sucked a dick to get a job, or just saying why is he here?
No, we were talking about why some people was there and why they kept some people under contract after so long. I mean, because we were paying those salaries, you know.
Right.
We, the ones taking bumps and working or being on the road every week, we were paying for their salary. But, I mean, that's something they need to ask the company. Only them know why they were keeping them around.
But you don't think there's any kind of, like in the old days, any kind of that stuff
What do you
going
mean,
on?
going
The cream team.
Going and do, no, I don't know. But maybe, I don't know.
Okay. And do you also suspect that maybe Miz and Brad Maddox joined that team?
No. They're good guys.
Very good. Jack Reigns, why is Rosa Mendez still employed despite being terrible at everything? Is she really fucking Michael Hayes, as has been heavily rumored online?
Oh, my God. You're putting me in a difficult spot.
Well, you don't know for sure.
I don't know anything about it. I know as much as they know, as they do.
So you might have heard the same kind of thing.
I heard the same, but I don't know if it's real or not.
You and the crew might have said things like, why is she still employed?
Yeah, I mean, I heard people talking, but I don't know if it's real or not.
Racism. Joseph Reynolds, as a wrestling fan who reads several wrestling sites quite often, I came across the news of Alberto Del Rio being let go by the WWE the day it happened. We all know that Vince and Triple H has their golden boys that get away with plenty of things. My question to Alberto Del Rio is, if someone like Cena was in the same situation, do you think he would have been treated the same as you?
Probably not. But I mean, again, unfortunately, I cannot talk about that thing anymore. But no.
But do you think that there was equal
No.
treatment? No.
No, never.
Okay. David McCutcheon. Mr. Rodriguez, I was sincerely upset to hear not only that your tenure in WWE ended, but especially how it ended. Racism and xenophobia will always be an issue in wrestling, as they are often exploited for angles or gimmicks, but it is not to interfere with your opportunity to make a living in the company. That is not right. I applaud you for defending yourself against a racist asshole. To my question. Was the amount of racism you faced in the WWE comparative to other promotions you have worked for in the past, or was this a lone incident with a representative of the company, or did you notice or experience things in the past with WWE? Thank you for addressing this tense issue.
No, every company is different, and to be honest, now WWE and I are cool at the moment. You know, again, I made a mistake, they made a mistake, but now we're good. Who knows? Maybe in the future I'll be there again. We never know, you know. Like people say never, right? But at the moment, I'm happy doing what I'm doing in Mexico and all the things I'm going to start doing next year here in the States, and I'm just happy.
Okay. Jose Marrero, we know that there have been allegations of racism thrown at office staff and Triple H. What about other top stars such as Randy Orton, Undertaker, and Cena? They are all cool?
Oh, no, those guys are fantastic, especially John Cena. He is one of the boys. He's a great guy.
Salvatore M., does producer Michael Hayes deserve the racist label that he gets? Is he really more of an N-word than Mark Henry, as per what Michael said to The Strongest Man, or is he a bigot scumbag?
Well, I heard that incident with Mark Henry, but again, I don't know if it was real or not. And my relationship with Hayes was strictly about the work, about the storylines, and that was it. We were never friends out of the business, so I cannot make any good or bad comments about.
And you didn't
Michael
see
Hayes.
any comments from him about.
Well, I
other
heard
guys?
a lot of things. I
Oh,
heard
from
a
him,
lot of rumors.
from
Oh
his
no,
mouth.
never. I never heard anything.
Okay. Jack Rains, did you ever witness Kevin Dunn or any of the WWE officials making racist or inappropriate sexual comments about the divas? It seems strange that a diva like Naomi has been held back despite being so much more talented than Eva Marie.
Jesus Christ, where they get these things? Well, again, I heard the rumors. I heard people talking, but I mean, I've never seen anything, or I never heard any of those guys talking about anything sexual or anything like that.
Okay. Lee Sanders has sent us this.
Hey, Sean. Hey, Alberto. Lee Sanders here of the RCWR show. Hey, Alberto, I got a question for you, man. I recently came across a interview that you had did with the Fighting Spirits magazine where you alleged that you constantly had witnessed racist comments being made against minorities such as Latinos and African Americans. And if that's so, then why didn't you leave the promotion sooner? As they made you a world heavyweight champion on at least 2 occasions, and they made you a WWE champion on 2 occasions. So you kind of follow along the same footsteps as the late Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. Also, bonus question for you. Do you ever think we'll see the day where we'll get a full-blown 100% African American as a WWE champion? Thanks.
You?
Yeah, probably you, my friend. Well, probably, you know, I mean, the company, they only care about one color, and that's the green color of money. So if the African Americans are bringing enough money to the company, they will have a world heavyweight champion, a WWE champion. That's
What was it that you said to Fighting Spirit that he was referencing?
Well, that was before I gave an interview to that magazine, but that was before WWE and I fixed our differences, and of course they weren't happy.
They might have read that.
With what I said. Yeah, yeah, but it was the same with me. I wasn't happy with what they said in Mexico because they were there. They were trying to sell tickets because they did horrible over there. They sold like the 40% of the building, the same building where I performed after they fired me, and I packed the place. And then they were just, you know, just the guy in charge of the company in Mexico said that I was lying, that the incident never happened, and this and that. And of course, I wasn't happy for that. So that's why I gave that interview to that magazine. I was like, okay, we both can play this game. Luckily for us, thank God, we fixed our problems a week after, and now again.
And as part of that agreement, you can't probably say anything negative about WWE,
Yeah.
even if it's true or not.
Yeah, starting this week, I'm dead for them, and they dead for me. So, I mean, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and they're going to do the same.
Okay, Jose Marrero, why do you think there are no Hispanics on WWE's creative team? Shouldn't Hispanics be represented on that team since they claim to be after a Hispanic demographic?
That's a good question, man. Ray and I always ask them why we were not having a Spanish writer and a Spanish producer. But, I mean, we don't own the company. We were just always trying to get that, but for some reason they never got one for us.
This is a great question. I grew up in West New York, New Jersey, which is 95% Latino. It was mostly Cuban up through the 80s, and then they made all their money and went to Florida, and then we got Central America to come up to us. So this question makes a lot of sense to me. Salvatore M., are the writing staff in WWE aware, my nickname in high school was Gringo Mierda, by the way, I just want you to know that.
Okay.
Are the writing staff in WWE aware that there are major differences between sects of Latinos? Are they aware that Mexicans and Puerto Ricans are not the same? That there is some resentment between Mexicans and the group known as Chicanos? Are they oblivious to this, and they just treat all Spanish people as one big group?
Yeah. Yeah, we're all the same.
Right.
We're all the same. Yeah, he's right. He's right. We're different. We're different, and actually, there's this big rivalry between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, or Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. But for them, we're all the same.
Oh my God! And so even like Cubans and Puerto Ricans. How many Cubans does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know.
5. 1 to change the light bulb, and 4 to talk shit while he does it.
Oh my God.
Potpourri. Potpourri. McWhalen, what does Alberto Del Rio do in his free time? What are some of your favorite TV shows? What movies do you enjoy? How do you relax?
My free time is for my family, my kids. When I go home to be a dad. I change diapers, I play with my kids. I was going home only for 36 hours, and even though I was completely tired, exhausted, or if I didn't sleep that night, I was always taking care of my kids. And now that I have more time, I'm there and I'm involved in everything they're doing. And my favorite shows were Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, American Horror Story, shows like that.
Odalis Urena sent us this.
Saludo Alberto from New York. I have a question for you. Con el look que tiene, pareces galán. Have you ever thought about getting into telenovelas?
The telenovelas, yeah. Actually, I had an offer from Telemundo while ago, but they said no. They didn't let me do it for some reason.
The company didn't let you do it? Can you get back? Because that's a huge.
No. I will. I have a lot of projects. I'm going to start a lot of campaigns in Mexico with a lot of companies doing commercials for their products, and I'm going to do something on TV starting next year. I was needing to fix my problem with my former company here in the States in order to do all those things with no problems.
Okay. Queen Del Rio, 29, adds, would you consider doing Dancing with the Stars? I believe you could be a big crossover star.
No, because I'm a terrible dancer. Ricardo knows everything about it. When we're partying and I'm a little bit tipsy, in my mind, and just in my mind, I think I'm the best dancer in the world, but I really suck.
I was going to say, after a couple of tequilas, you think you...
After a couple of rums, I feel, in my mind, I'm the best dancer in the world.
Out of 1 to 10, where is he on the dancing?
-1.
He hasn't moved.
There is only one.
What's the move? What's the move?
It's fun.
It's more of a hand move?
All right. Yeah, but in my mind, I feel like I'm moving my entire body, and everybody's staring at me because I'm such a great dancer.
Did anyone ever show you video of that?
Of course.
All right.
That's how I know. That's how I know that I suck.
Okay. Jack Raines, has anyone ever confused you for the guy who plays Sonny Corinthos on General Hospital? Because my ex thought you were one and the same.
Well, I get a lot of tweets from people saying that, but I don't think so.
Kyle Van Hukelon, hey, I've been wondering this. Does Hornswoggle still scam people for free stuff? That little bastard owes me a couple of beers and says that I don't.
Say that again. Which one?
Hornswoggle, Dylan.
Okay.
Does he try to get free stuff from people?
Yeah, he's a little bastard.
Is he?
Yeah, but he's a good guy. He's just a little.
A likable bastard.
There you go, likable bastard.
All right, this segment is Ask Alberto. Some advice. Some people out there need advice with their life, and you're going to give them advice. Here's the first letter we got. Alberto. I've been wrestling on the indie circuit here in Australia for the last 10 years. I would say that I'm an average to above average type of wrestler at best, but no one wants to put me over. I hate being cast as a jobber, as my friends constantly give me shit about this, and it's embarrassing to my daughter who sits and watches me at ringside. How can I get other wrestlers to put me over? Signed, Stefan Fool, Gladstone Park, Australia.
Well, if he's being embarrassed in front of his daughter, I think he needs to get a different job. I mean, I will never do anything that is hurting my kids or my family. So if he's not happy with what he's doing, he needs to find another job. This job, wrestling, is all about fun. That's why I became a wrestler, because I heard the stories from my dad, from my uncles and friends, and that's why I joined the business. If you're not having fun while you're doing this, just quit and do something else.
Our second letter is, Dear Alberto, true story. I had a Dominican girl I was dating for less than a month pull a knife on me because I commented that her sister was very good looking. I was just paying a sincere compliment, not hitting on her sister. Alberto, can you tell me and the rest of us gringos the do's and don'ts of dating a Latin woman? By the way, it's not like she carries a knife on her person at all times. I would be a bigot if I led you to believe that. I just made the mistake of saying to her that to her in my kitchen.
Well, don't say that again.
Signed,
don't mess with Latin chicks because they will cut your balls off.
You probably should not comment that one of her friends.
That's the reason I never dated a Latin chick, because they would have cut my balls off. I was a little bit crazy when I was younger, so.
Back then. Right?
Back then, yeah, a long time ago.
The finish. Christina, what was your biggest accomplishment throughout your wrestling career so far?
No, I had many, you know. But in Mexico, I enjoyed every single time in Mexico. My run in Japan as a fighter, as a pro wrestler, and of course, my career with WWE was fantastic. Whether some people liked it or not, I had an amazing run because I'm that good. I mean, I'm an amazing performer, in-ring performer. Maybe some people wasn't happy with the character. Maybe some people wasn't happy with the company pushing me and not pushing other people. And you know, maybe they're right. You know, they always gonna have their favorites and their less favorite. And the company did all those things to me because they were making a lot of money in Mexico. They had a lot of sponsors from Mexico. And I was always putting a good show. I was always giving quality 5 stars matches every single night, and that's the reason they pushed me. And then they also knew that I'm a good guy, that I was not going to get in troubles. They were never going to see me in a video kicking the crap out of somebody. We just talked about that incident in LA. When that happened, it was because there was this guy in the bar beating the crap out of his girlfriend. And of course, I was not going to let that happen because I have sisters, I have a mother, and in my culture or everywhere, you have to respect women. And I saw that, and I stopped the guy. And another guy jumped from behind, and Drew stopped him. And then from nowhere, this little guy came from behind and hit me with the bottle. That's all that happened. But I'm not an aggressive person.
You're not a troublemaker.
No. When I go out to have fun, and that's it.
Finally, a 5-word question that just about sums up a lot of the discussion we've had today. Jamie Reyes asks, why is the WWE stupid?
That's a great question. I think the first 4 years in WWE were fantastic. Everybody was having fun. Everything was going well. But I think the problem is they have 2-3 people running the show, and like anywhere else, you need only one guy telling people what to do. You cannot, I don't know if it's going to make sense in English, but in Mexico we always say this. You cannot serve God and the devil at the same time. You have to serve one of them. It doesn't work both ways. And that's the situation in WWE at the moment. You have to serve too many heads. You have to please too many heads. And when that started, is when everything changed for pretty much everybody, or at least to me. And my good friend Ricardo, who apparently was the reason of my success in WWE.
If you ask him,
according
he said he cured cancer.
According to Tamahi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, I thank you for coming and being honest and opening up and allowing your fans to ask you anything.
Thank you, my friend. No, thank you, and thank you for having me here. It will be good if you make an interview with Ricardo because he doesn't care about anything.
Well, we're going to get him next time. And you can do his introduction.
He will tell you, I will do it. I will do it for him. He is my friend, and I will do it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching.